Welcome to this 10-minute Tuesday episode of The Real Game.
Rebounding, better transition, better whatever it is, better taking care of the ball, better communication. We control everything about this game. We control the offense, the defense, the tempo. It's our game to control. We'll throw a press at them, but we'll slow them down, all right? We will go Villanova some, mix up the defenses. We'll go 2-3, we'll go man. I don't want to come in here at halftime and read the halftime sheet, stat sheet, and us be up to 14 or 15 turnovers, or especially against that team. Honestly, against any team we play, that should never be the case.
Welcome to The Real Game in this episode of 10-Minute Tuesday. I want to take just a moment, even though this episode actually will drop on Tuesday. Today is Memorial Day, and it's been a good weekend. It's a great day to remember those that have fought for our country. And I want to read a little thing that I wrote here just in memory of our soldiers, of our fallen soldiers, and maybe just a quick moment of silence and dedicate this episode to them. Today, we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. On this Memorial Day, we remember the brave heroes who defended our freedoms. Their selflessness and courage inspire us to continue their legacy. We carry their memory forward and dedicate this episode to their unwavering commitment. May their souls rest in peace. Thank you. So I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day. I've been looking forward to this episode. A couple of weeks ago, I opened my Facebook page up for some questions from listeners, and I actually had pretty good feedback from some people. And we did an episode last week on a question that somebody submitted on how to improve the culture of cheering and cheering from the sidelines. So we dealt with that a little bit. And I think that kind of segues a little bit into the question we have today. And certainly officials, and specifically basketball officials, have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders when it comes to, officiating the game, serving the game well to the best of their abilities. And that ties into, the crowd and cheering and parents and how parents react to the officials and stuff like that. So I have a few refs that I'm friends with. I know I've had my brother on the episode once, but somebody submitted a question today, and I turned to my friend Tim. Tim is a longtime official. Tim, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about your officiating journey and, how you started and kind of what you're doing today.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been officiating for 25 plus years. Actually, Matthew and I went to college together, but I started officiating shortly after we left college and I got married, and have been doing it ever since. And so, I referee basketball, volleyball, a little bit of soccer, and I also I've assigned those sports for the last 20 plus years. So, I've got the management perspective, the officiating perspective, and then in that 25 year window, basketball has been my main sport, which that's the one I started 25 years ago, and for about 15 years I worked as an NCAA men's official as well. Mostly Division II, Division II, Division III, some JUCO stuff. I did work a little bit of Division I, not the big time, but in some of the mid majors in this area in the Southeast where I live. So I was able to have. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in the last 10 years or so, but I did for many years work at that higher level, and that experience has really, been good for me in bringing that down to the high school level where I'm at now, and assigning the games as well. Yeah,
sure. Well, I have a lot of respect for you guys as officials. Especially in the last I've been coaching for 25 plus years, and I think as I have spoken personally with more officials in recent years, I have a lot of respect for you and what you have to deal with, and the load that you guys have on your shoulder, and the ability that you guys bring to officiate a game, objectively every single night, day in and day out. So I appreciate what you're doing. And the question I have for you, I know I sent this to you ahead of time, and maybe you've had a chance to think about it a little bit, but the question that was submitted to me is perhaps a little bit controversial, especially amongst officials. But the question is this: can a basketball official sway the game one way or the other and still be within the rules? And I think if we take out the word sway there and maybe add the word influence, that might be a little more appropriate. Can a basketball official influence the game one way or the other and still be within the rules? So what do you think about that, Tim? What do you think about that? I know I have my opinion, but you're the expert here. So tell me what you think about that question.
Yeah. So the short answer is, and we can finish the podcast, is yes.
All right, we're done. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I mean, really, honestly, if you really are honest with, or any officials honest with themselves, they should say yes to that question. Obviously, it's a little more complicated than that, and there's much more involved there, but which we may not even have time to get into today. But yeah, I mean, yes, there are things that can be done, and to be quite honest, there's things that maybe I've done over my career that have done that, not specifically to allow one team to win or another, but really some of the factors, and maybe you're going to get into this, I don't know, but some of the factors involve, the attitude of the participants, specifically, coaches.
Yeah, definitely.
If coaches are respectful and stuff to you, then it's again, this is there's a whole lot here. I could spend a lot of time on this, honestly, but when a coach is respectful to you, you want to be respectful back and give them your best. When they're disrespectful and they do things that really distract you from what you're trying to do, which is officiate the game, keep it fair and safe for the kids and all that. When they distract you from that and are very disrespectful, then we're all human and there's certain plays that might be a 50-50 type play that, to be quite honest, could go against them.
Sure. Yeah.
So
no, I get that. I've been on, I will say I've been on the receiving end of that, frequently, but I have in my years of coaching certainly been had encounters with officials early on in games where I felt like maybe a call didn't go my way or I disagreed with something. And then as a result of that, I felt like the ref maybe was a little quicker to blow the whistle against me or against my players, and maybe or let some things go here and there that weren't in my favor. So I totally understand what you're saying. I think a ref, a coach can certainly bring that out in an official. And like you said, officials are human. I think they intend and want to come into every contest as objectively as possible, but you probably agree with me that officiating is subjective. There are a lot of calls that could go either way, like maybe a charge could be a block, or maybe a travel might not be a travel from a certain angle, or a reach might not be a reach from a certain angle, or whatever, so things like that. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, again, there's a lot there too, but, you mentioned angles, and I know this is not necessarily, part of the question, but I mean, it kind of takes us in a lot of different directions, but,
sure, yeah.
An angle, part of that is that officials may not be able to see the same thing that the coach sees, right? So,
right.
The angle is super important, and that's part of positioning in our training and stuff like that, which, is a different subject. But, it is, I just say again, I think the biggest part is if the participants in the game, the players, the coaches, even the parents, them a little bit less, because they're much harder to control, if you want to say it that way, as a game official. But the participants in the game, if they're respectful to the game, to the other team, to the officials, the people that are in charge, then I think there's a lot less opportunities for officials to get emotional and try to influence. Now, again, I don't. You said it already. I don't think that any official has the intent to go into a game to influence it in one way or another.
Yeah.
The objective of an official is to, again, I said this as well, is to go into every game, keep the game safe, and keep it fair for everyone. but then you've got all the emotions and the other things that we've kind of, talked about here a little bit,
right?
That can influence, specific calls and specific situations. Yeah.
I had an interview on one of my podcasts with a guy named Paul Diaspera. He has a podcast called Crown Refs. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not.
I'm very aware.
Yeah. Basically, he said a lot of the same things. He talked about roles and how important it is that everybody remembers their roles. That officials remember that their role is to officiate the game in a safe and fair way. The coach's role is to just coach and leave the officials alone. The players play and fans cheer. And that's basically the 4 roles within a game. Specifically, you and I are talking about basketball. So if everybody remembered that and remembered those roles, then it seems like every contest would go pretty smoothly, right?
Man, it would be great. Yeah, that would be an ideal world. Probably what's going to be like in heaven if we actually play sports, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we will.
Yeah.
No, but that's good. Well, Tim, I appreciate you coming on here today. I know wasn't an easy question, and but I think you did very well answering it and explaining that to us. And I appreciate the work that you are doing. Keep on officiating and doing a good job, and especially the assigning part. That's I know what goes into that, and I know that we as coaches really appreciate a good assigner. And so thanks for coming on today, Tim, and hope you have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for reading that. Definitely proud to be an American, and thanks, for that. So
absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. I'd like to leave you today with a segment of an article that I read on the Positive Coaching Alliance website, and the title of the article is this: Honoring the Game. Sports provide a great framework for cultivating ethical behavior. Winning and losing gracefully are hallmarks of people equipped to live in and lead a civil society. And learning to treat people with dignity, especially under the pressure of competition, is one of the most valuable life lessons sports can offer. In sports, this is honoring the game, respect for the rules, opponents, officials, teammates, and self. These are the roots of positive competition and a healthy team culture. So good luck, coaches, and coach on.